Welcome back to the Fly Media Podcast. Today's episode, we are focusing on a student pilot who is a day before his check ride. So we're going to go through his journey from starting off from zero to check ride ready, talk about his goals, the challenges he faced, and of course, his love and excitement for aviation. Welcome, Ali. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, man, of course. It's my pleasure, 100%. So let's kind of dive into that and talk about why you got into aviation. Like, what made you take the leap and go, I want to be a pilot?
I guess my parents told me this when I was a kid. I guess I would like look up in the sky and see planes just because we live like in this general area. So John Wayne arrivals would always be right above us. And same with LAX, like the way that they filtered them through. I would look up and be like, look, like that's a plane. And so they kind of would buy me like toys and things like that, just planes and whatnot. And then when I was 13, 14, around that, I just decided, hey, let's put me in flight school. So I started at, I think, 14. I did that for a year, gained about 20 hours, and I was like, okay, like this is cool, like I'm enjoying it. I couldn't solo yet, so I was going through everything for the most part. I did landings, stalls, S turns, and ground reference maneuvers and things like that. But then obviously, like high school comes into play. I played football, so I couldn't keep up with flight training. Money is also an issue, especially when you're 14, and just things happen, with family and whatnot. And so I skipped flight training and played football all 4 years and completely forgot about it. I've always told myself, like, I need to get back to doing this. This is what I love to do. Like, this is my thing. I was also like a plane spotter. So I would always like still be part of the airport somehow. And yeah, here we are 10 years later. Started back in July. I was like, I'm just going to take the leap. Found a school, decided, hey, take a discovery flight. Next week, put the down payment, did whatever, and it's history from there.
That's awesome. So you always knew you wanted to be a pilot, or you always loved planes and aviation, looking up in the sky when you heard them fly overhead as a child. You got introduced kind of into it and flew a little bit as a kid at 14 years old, and then high school hit. We all know how high school is. A lot of homework, a lot of schoolwork. Uh,
Yep.
you know, you played sports. Obviously, you have all of the extracurricular activities with, hanging out with friends and being social. Because at that point, had you been head on into aviation, that would maybe have affected your social life, and you would have kind of been,
Oh yeah.
cast off in a corner and missed out on
Yeah.
everything going around you.
Especially because I was technically like the new guy at my school. So like I wasn't brought up through that same school district with those guys. So it's like here's the new Arab guy coming in playing football. So it's like, oh, and it's not even so much like the difference between different people. It was just like, who's this guy? Like we've never seen this person before. And football's football. Like everybody knows how it goes, and it's just how it is. Like you have to go through everybody's BS and whatnot. So it's like it was a fun time. I enjoyed high school. It was great.
That's awesome. So then jumping back into it this July, you said you signed up and did a discovery flight. Did you do it at the same school that you ended up flying with?
No, so I started out with Sunrise Aviation at John Wayne, and I ended up just doing a little bit more research and whatnot. I took like 2 weeks before I actually went discovery flight. I was like, let me just kind of take a look and see, what schools would be perfect for what I need, like what planes do they have and whatnot. I was used to a 172, so whoever had 172s, I was just going to look at. So I took a look at one flight school, looked at the reviews. I was like, I'm not doing this whatsoever. Sunrise, I know what planes they have, like they're great, but I wanted like a little bit newer, and just well maintained and maybe just like a different scene than what I'm used to. So I went to Orange County Flight Center and I went there. I did my ground school through them, so I already knew some of the people there, and my ground instructor ended up being my flight instructor. So in the 3, 4 months that I was there doing my groundwork, I ended up developing a relationship with him. I was like, hey, just can you be my CFI? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of what I did. Yeah, there wasn't like a clear cut reason as to why I didn't stick with Sunrise. I guess what I was okay with at the time and what I felt comfortable with like a few months ago. I just decided, hey, I'm just gonna go OCFC and call it a day.
For people out there listening that are interested in becoming a pilot, what type of questions or what is it that you would look for in a flight school?
The biggest thing that I've been struggling with is maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. Make sure that maintenance is on top of those planes. That's one. Two, make sure that the planes are available, due to how many students are there. So my school has a ton of students, not enough CFIs, and not enough planes that are working. So we have a solid amount of planes. Like we have 12 to 15 planes. The problem is though, is there's only six working. So it's like you have to schedule yourself out many months ahead.
Wow.
So my biggest thing for everybody is make sure that you know what's going on with maintenance there. Make sure that you can even find a CFI who has the time for you, and just make sure like the whole school in of itself, like the atmosphere there is actually what you want. Because you can go into a school and like, hey, they have everything, but like if the atmosphere isn't okay for what you want, like it's not gonna work. And I've kind of, I don't want to like talk bad on them, because I've had great relationships with people at my school. It's one of those things where it's like you want to walk in and actually feel like, hey, like I'm happy to go flying here and like represent the school for the time being. And then, maybe down the line, somebody's like, oh, hey, like, how was your school? You can say good things about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like I have bad things to say. I just have my opinions on certain things, which I don't want to get into and make the school look bad. And so it's like,
Yeah, no
yeah.
problem. But you did say that you had to book pretty much like a month in advance. So you really have to schedule far enough in advance.
So it's like the first like 3 months I was there, I booked myself out for 3 months. I was like, okay, like I'm good. Like I'm good with the 3 months. I was flying 3 times a week. Everything was okay. When those 3 months came up, I couldn't get myself on the schedule because at the time there was only four planes working and they're all G1000. So it's like, we have two six packs. The one six pack, that was an S model,
Mm-hmm.
decided the engine was not going to work. So that was down for many months. And the other N model that we had is a literal rust bucket. Great plane. I don't have a problem with it. It's great. Just nobody wants to fly that thing. So, you know, and just getting on that schedule between only like 4 or 5 planes is so hard, especially when like you have a stage check coming up
Mm-hmm.
or like you have a solo coming up. And I got lucky with some of my dates that I specifically needed just because I knew some people at the school and like I made some friends and I was like, hey, like I need this. Like,
Right.
and I'm not trying to be selfish, but you kind of have to. It's like this is my own journey. Like I might help you, it's completely fine, but like I need to also worry about like, hey, I can't prolong this. If I'm waiting a whole month before I fly next, like I'm gonna lose it. And
Right.
like then I'm just going back to like the basics, which I do not want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Long gaps within your training can set you back where not only do you have to go relearn certain lessons and repractice certain things, but it's costly. Flying isn't cheap.
Yeah.
I imagine you were paying somewhere in the $230 range per hour for the
So
aircraft.
the plane I fly is a 2021 172 SP. It is a G1000 with autopilot and everything. Not even, there's not standby instruments. It's a little, it's
Mm-hmm.
the what is it?
G5.
No, it's not a G5, 275.
Okay.
And it's glass everywhere. This thing was 250 an hour and instructor is 85 an hour. So I'm paying like $340 an hour flying
Right.
this thing. And like my long solo when I flew to Bakersfield, Santa Barbara and back, that was an $1,100 day.
Yeah.
And I logged 4.3. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
but it's all
extremely
good.
expensive. Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. No, I understand that 100%. Flying is
Hmm.
costly. It's important to one, be on the schedule, two, have available planes, and most importantly, to not have setbacks where you
Yeah.
have to go and redo certain things because it's not cheap. It's a fun process. I'm sure you loved
100%.
every minute of it, but
Oh, it
your
was
pot
great.
your
Yeah.
pocketbook hurt. You sat down, it
Yeah.
got 3 inches shorter while it wasn't fat like it used to be.
No, seriously. And another thing too, your instructor, like that's also a big thing too. Like make sure your instructor is cool, like and actually knows their stuff. Like anybody could be a flight instructor. You can go take the test, you can do the check ride, pay the money, whatever. But if you can't teach and like actually give that knowledge to somebody who can actually apply it to their flying, you're not going to be a great pilot, and you're not going to be with a great instructor either. So I got lucky. Like my instructor, he's great. Love the guy. Never had a single issue with him, and I'm happy with the way he trained me. I can't ever say like a bad thing about the guy.
So, what traits do you look for? Would you say people should look for in an instructor?
Somebody who's actually like willing to give you criticism without making you like feel down on yourself. That's one, like constructive criticism. One who actually supports the things that you want to do and backs you in everything that you go through with your training. And if kind of really like goes out of their way to like make sure you know what you're doing. Like, in flying, certain instructors they have like a technique on how to land, right? Landing is probably going to be the hardest thing for most people, which is completely fine. It was a struggle for me at first, and so like certain tips and tricks like that each instructor has, like pick up on that.
Right.
See how they do it, and like if they're not giving you tips and tricks, like they're not the one for you. But you also have to realize like how they are, like how did they receive that information too? Like if they can receive that by doing physical things, and if you're that same exact way, do the same thing. Maybe you'll be good at it. So that's kind of what I did. I was like, we're kind of the same person,
Mhm.
when it comes to flying. Like he backs me and I back him, and like he supports me as much as he can, and he tries to like hype me up as well, when I'm like feeling down about certain things, and like he's like, look, like yeah, you messed up, but this is what we can do to fix it. It's like a football coach. Like I've always referenced everything like to playing football. Like sometimes the message within the argument is the most important versus the tone. Like the tone can be crazy, but listen to the message that's within.
Right, right, most definitely. There are excitable and exciting moments, especially when flying, like things are in general just by design dangerous. You're flying
Mm-hmm.
an airplane approaching the ground at 72-ish miles an hour. Something
Yep.
goes wrong, you can be badly injured. So if they're a little excitable when they say something, don't take that to heart. Just recognize that, hey, this is an exciting thing that we're doing. So they're
Yeah,
just trying to
exactly.
like get that information out as quickly as possible so we can be safe.
Yep. No, most
Most definitely.
definitely.
Yeah, that's great advice there. Let's talk a little bit about like the location in which you train. You mentioned you're training out of John Wayne. Can we talk about that airspace a little bit?
So John Airport is a very, very busy Charlie in the Los Angeles Class Bravo airspace. It's kind of outside of the Bravo, but it's a lot of fun. I've always told people if you're gonna start your training, like, do it at a very busy place, where there's actually like other planes that's not Cessnas and general aviation for the most part, corporate aviation as well, and bring in the airliners. It's all because you know how to keep yourself away from wake turbulence. You know how to communicate with just about everybody. Like your radio communications, like once you get those down, you can talk with anybody. That's what I always preach, and it's a lot of fun. It can get a little crazy,
Yeah.
um, with other student pilots or like just airlines and whatnot, and just like the way we come into land as well is a little fun. We also don't have like a conventional traffic pattern, so for us, it's not the perfect rectangular box. Like we don't have
Mhm.
that. It's for us. As soon as you take off, you're over to the departure end of the runway. Immediately turn left 15 degrees and start making your crosswind to downwind. Like it's not like one big thing. It's all just one weird ovalish shape. Fly downwind, and then our base to final is kind of the same thing. Like because there's the parallel traffic, and before they clear you to land, if there's another guy, always like, hey, like, 916 Romeo Romeo, 737 on a 2 mile final, report traffic in sight. Cool, got traffic in sight. All right, caution awake, maintain visual, 20 left, clear to land. And so
Right.
sometimes we'll have a parallel guy, but then there's also a guy holding short in between the runways.
Oh
So it's like,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I have to worry about his wake, and then I got to worry about the guy that's sitting on the ground, his wake. So imagine like planes here, we got to fly over his tail and just drop that nose down. So teaches you a lot, like short field landings too. Like you automatically start doing your short field landings the moment you start training there anyway.
Right,
So you might as well, because you're using up half the runway to get past this guy. So I like it. It's fun. I try to tell everybody like do your non-towered, it's fun, it's cool to fly non-towered because you don't have to worry about the jet traffic or anything, but your radio calls, like if you can get those down flying out of a place like John Wayne, you'll be solid literally anywhere.
right, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be one less thing to intimidate you. Oh, I'm flying through a busy airspace. I come from a busy airspace. You're
Yep.
more intimidated by going to a non-towered airport and be like, all right, so
Yeah.
where is everybody? Am I safe? I'm calling out. I don't hear anybody. I guess there's nobody here. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely an amazing challenge. Now, tell me a little bit about the feeling of as a student pilot flying in this busy airspace. You're on final, and you're looking at a 737 on the ground, holding short, waiting for you to land.
Um, it's kind of, I find it exciting. Like some people are super scared of it. Like I'll hear some students like, they're scared to like do their solos because of it. And I'm like, dude, it's fun. It's exciting. And it's like you gotta think like one day you'll be flying that, and those same guys used to fly like the same planes you're flying. So it's like sometimes they won't be holding short in between the runways. They'll be holding short of like my runway. So it's like,
Right.
oh, you got to nail this landing, so they don't talk like shit on you.
Exactly.
So,
That.
you know, and
Yeah.
like it's fun, especially like when you're landing on the bigger runway. Like sometimes, if it's empty and we get the clearance from flying in from like the west, they'll give us like the bigger runway. So it's like, oh, cool, like I get to land on the big runway today.
Right.
And then I just have like a long landing, get off on Echo, and I'm right at parking. Good there and done. So it's fun. I like it. I don't have a single bad experience being there. Just wake turbulence is really the only big issue. But besides that, like it's cool and it does get busy though. Like especially the traffic pattern gets very busy, and like when you have a 757 ready to head out or come in, you're sitting on the ground holding short for like 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
You are
So,
not the priority. Right. You are not the priority
no.
when it comes to these big money flights. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, the longest I've held short, like 45 minutes.
Ooh. The next question. You're holding short and that engine is running. Are you paying Hobbs time or tech time?
Hobbs.
Ooh. So you paid 45 minutes worth of time to sit there and wait.
Yeah, I'm building time on the ground at that point.
Oh, thank goodness it counts.
I know. No, seriously, could you imagine? You're just like, nope. The only time you get to log is the moment you take off. Oh man, I would kill myself at that point.
Oh man, that would be rough. That would be a very, very expensive training. So moving forward a little bit, as you're now, getting ready for the check ride, before getting there, what would you say was your biggest struggle throughout the process of, going from zero to where you are now?
There was obviously some mistakes, right, while in flight, but there wasn't crazy enough to where like, okay, let's spend 2, 3 more days on that. So everything kind of came fluid to me for the most part. I think the biggest thing was maybe my short field landings, and turns around a point, but we only kind of really did that over the course of like 1, 2 days. And the biggest thing that I didn't really like the most were the stage checks, I guess. Like be on top of your stuff for stage checks. And like my stage two check, there was, I messed up some things. Like I'm taking fault for it. Like I messed up on my landings, just completely fine. Like we just redid it, and that's kind of really it. The reason why I also did like everything one time as well was because we would talk about it, I would read up on it, I would watch YouTube videos on it. Like, okay, like we're doing, let's say S turns for the day. Like S turns, okay, let me go watch like a YouTube video on it. So I'm not wasting my time in the air because maybe my instructor is not feeling it that day and like he doesn't do it right. So I would watch videos, make sure like I'm on top of it, reread the material just the day of the flight, go take the flight, do it a couple times, and all right, they were good enough, and we moved on to the next. And I then would just redo those just before my stage checks, just like as a refresher, like, hey, we haven't done them. Okay, cool, let's get it done. Let's move on. So, yeah.
So the reason that you feel that you were able to kind of get through these things without too much struggle was the fact that you were preparing on your own. You would debrief, you'd hear what your next lesson would be, and you would go study up on that. You put in the work, the time on your own. You took accountability.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's one of the biggest things because if you don't put in that time and you go, oh, well, my instructor will show me when I get there, now you're kind of behind because it's the first time you're seeing it, hearing it, understanding it. And the
Yep.
most expensive classroom on the planet is inside the running airplane.
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
if you want to enjoy flying and you want to progress, you need to spend your time when you're not in the plane studying. Spend 3 hours on the ground for every 1 hour you spend in the air studying,
Yep.
and that'll help you to progress well, like Ali.
No, most definitely. Yeah, I was always help like appreciative of the fact that I would ask, be like, hey, like what's the next thing we're doing? And like I had my syllabus and so it would tell me, but I had to like hear that, because our syllabus is a little weird. I didn't really like it, in my opinion. Some lessons didn't need to be there, and some of the reading material didn't make any sense to like what I was supposed to be doing. So I would just ask him, be like, "Hey, what are we doing next?" He would tell me, "Okay, let me write this down. All right, cool. Get home, just kind of relax for the day, and then the next day, because I won't fly for like 2, 3 more days. So I'm like, okay, let me grab everything, figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, figure that out, watch videos, and read it, and then apply that. I'm a very physical person, so I can't just read it and be like, okay, like I know what I'm doing. Like I have to physically do it and go through that motion of
Right.
like the whole thing. So yeah, definitely read the material. My first stage check, honestly, I really don't even know how I got through it. I was so rusty on everything. It had been 10 years since I last flown, and I finally got through, and I got through it. Like, I did perfectly fine. It's not that, it was my groundwork. Like, the
Right.
oral portion was the part where I was, like, from 6 months ago up until now, like, whole different person. Like, now I know my stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of time that passed. So even things that you knew, even if you knew things when you were 14, 15 years old, that's 10 years. You'll forget a lot. You know what I mean? You'll forget at
100%.
that point more than you knew.
Most definitely.
We talked about your maneuvers. Of all the maneuvers, what was your favorite? Which one you're like, this is my shit. I love this maneuver.
Oh, let's see. I don't like stalls. Stalls were whatever. I kind of like steep turns. Steep turns were fun. Steep turns were always cool. S turns were cool. I mean, they're basically the same thing. So I thought those were cool. Turns around a point, I really did not like. Like those were just so annoying to do. And then well, takeoffs and landings. I like soft field takeoffs and short field landings. Those were always fun. Those are always fun to do.
Definitely get that nose up off the ground, pitch forward.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
fun.
I like staying in ground effect. Sometimes like if he even doesn't even tell me to do it, like I've always like staying in ground effect is always fun, and then
Yeah.
just pitching up and just pitching straight for VX. It's a lot of fun to do.
Oh, most definitely. The funny thing for me when you're doing your steep turns is when you kind of complete the turn and you hit your own wake and you're like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
That's always a
yes,
funny one for me that always made me kind of go, oh wow, that's
yeah,
didn't expect that.
100%. I think like my very first one, I think I did it a little too fast. I was past the 45 degree, and we came back around and we swung, and I was like, oh, this was a little too fast.
Oh
So.
yeah.
Yep. But yeah, those steep turns are always fun. Pretty good at, yeah, I like those.
Throughout your process of flying, you've had to do cross countries. What would you say was your favorite moment or your favorite view, flying out of John Wayne along your cross country route?
So I'll give two examples, or I'll give three. I have three. So one was it was I had a cross country to Santa Paula Airport. It's north of Camarillo. We flew through the Bravo, and I hadn't flown over LAX in 10 years. So that is always a cool moment to fly through the Bravo coastal route.
I was just
And
gonna
on the
ask which route. Okay, yep,
Yeah,
5500.
coastal.
Yeah, Oh, what,
Yep.
55 or 6,500 feet heading north
Yep.
along the water,
55.
looking.
Hmm.
LAX is off to your right. You look down, you're seeing 737s and the two parallel runways heading out to the
Yep.
beach underneath you.
Yeah, that's always fun to do. Done that a couple times. The way back was fun just because we weren't late, but it was a hazy day and the sun was kind of right at that haze level. We just could like we almost shot an instrument approach because like of how bad it was.
Right.
But I mean, we got through, we got underneath it. It was cool, like just the way the sun was coming in, it was really nice. The second example is my entire long solo. That is just an experience of its own. Just what a friend of mine and I like we trained out of the same school and we were on the same pace. We planned for both of us to fly our long solos the same day. So he was in his own 172. I'm in my own 172. We're flying up to Bakersfield. We're like in a formation and technically we weren't allowed to, but we have our own squawk code, so they couldn't tell us no. So pretty much flying in formation, headed up to Bakersfield, down to Santa Barbara, grabbed lunch in Santa Barbara, and then came back to the Bravo, and it was fun. And then another one was, I think this was the moment where, and I don't know what clicked, honestly, like even till this day, like I even asked my instructor about it. We flew to Palm Springs, my very first time there, and everything kind of came full circle for some weird reason. I don't know why, but we were on a very long approach and it was a straight in, and that was probably one of my best landings that I've ever had. So, and ever since then, everything just worked out. Landings always hit my spot, takeoffs always hit them. Like from then on, I don't know. It was like a weird experience, like a good one. Just everything since then has just been like clicking on all cylinders in terms of like flying. So like I'm very grateful for that flight. Don't know what it was.
That was the moment where things finally started to come together. All the things you've been practicing, that you've been hearing,
Yep.
that you've been studying, all meshed, and you were like, "Oh wow, I have that moment of clarity."
Yeah. No, I don't know why. I don't know what it was. Just that was like I look back at the videos because I recorded the whole thing and I was like, wow, like this was a solid flight, no bumps, like great sunset on the way back. That was my first like technical like night flight log time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool. I liked it. It was a lot of fun, and it I definitely wouldn't want it any other way in terms of that experience.
Well, perfect. I mean, flying is an adventure. Every day is an adventure, especially as a student pilot. The more that you learn, the more you fly, the different places you go. The sky is just an endless abyss um,
Hmm.
of opportunity, to go different
No,
places.
definitely.
If you have the gift of 1 mile of runway, you can go pretty much anywhere.
No, literally. It's very true.
So, do you have like a bucket list of airports that you want to visit once you get your pilot certificate?
So I want to do Catalina. I feel like everybody wants to do Catalina.
Yeah,
I
same.
was I did a mock oral with somebody a couple days ago, and he lives out east, and he's like, "Dude, let me know when you go. Like, I want to live that through you." And I was like, "Definitely, 100%." Catalina's one. I think my biggest one besides LAX, like everybody wants to fly into LAX, if you're from down here, but ah, I want to say maybe. St. Martin or St. Bart's would be a good one.
Okay, yeah, yeah, down in the Caribbean, that'd be awesome. That St. Bart's
Yep.
approach is nuts.
Hmm.
I think Fly Me to Fun did a video
They
flying in
did
there,
it.
right? In the little
Yep.
150.
Hmm.
Awesome.
That was sick. I
Oh
was like, I
yeah,
want to do that so bad.
that would be a dream.
So, I'm trying to think. I haven't really thought about that. Like a bucket list place. Like I have like bucket list places to go to, just
Right,
airports. Yeah, I think for now it's kind of what I got. There's a lot of places I want to go to in like Europe and Asia and Australia, but
right.
I think for now, like St. Martin, St. Bart's, like that would be really cool to go to.
Yeah, those would be epic. Those would be epic. A few more
Hmm.
I have on my list personally. I've got Sedona Airport. I've
Oh, I
got
heard Sedona's nice.
if you play Microsoft Flight Sim, the 2020 version or whatever the latest version is before 2024, That's the airport that they train you in the little 150 in the traffic pattern. Um, I was able to visit in real life the other in May of this year. We flew down to Phoenix, drove up, spent a few days in Sedona, had lunch up at the diner. They have a diner up on the field. It's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful mesa, about I don't know 500-600 feet above the town itself, and you've actually got a beautiful view of the Red Rock Mountains around you, cliffs on both sides of the runway.
That's really cool.
Epic.
That's really nice.
So
Definitely
that's
gonna
on
have
the
to add
list.
that.
Oh yeah, Tahoe's another good one. You're in SoCal. Big Bear's little airport is pretty cool to fly
Oh,
into. A lap over
yeah,
the
yeah,
lake.
yeah. Yep.
Um, those are some places that I'm, really looking forward to. Other things, Sun River up in Oregon's another cool location,
Mm-hmm.
and
I've
we've
heard
got
about
some
that one.
cool coastal airports up here in the Bay. Shelter Cove is a really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful approach coming in. This is like that's the part of NorCal where like the mountains actually meet the coast. So you come in
Yep.
kind of like over some cliffs and mountains, land right there on the runway. You can walk from the runway down to Black Sand Beach. You're allowed to camp on the runway under your wings and such. So
That's really cool.
that would be a neat experience. I'm just excited. Of course, Oshkosh, that's high up on my list.
Yeah.
I'm booked.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
booked for Oshkosh this year. I booked my room and accommodations. I'm going with my
Hell yeah.
flying
That's
club.
really cool.
So now it's just finish getting my checkout in the 182 RG we're working on, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna book that for that week of Oshkosh. Maybe spend 2 days going, a day and a half coming back.
Not
So
too
maybe
bad.
10 days. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I was telling a friend, I was like, dude, let's fly to Sun and Fun. Let's do that. Let's do Oshkosh. Like,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
cares? Let's put some money together. Let's go rent a plane and just do it. And
yeah.
he kind of looked at me like, what the
You're
hell are you
crazy.
talking
That's
about?
that's 3,000 miles in a Cessna.
Yeah.
You're nuts.
So I told him, I was like, okay, fine. If you don't want to do that, let's at least fly to like Texas.
Oh
Like we'll
yeah,
take a commercial flight. We'll fly to Texas. We'll go rent a plane there. Like find flying club, go get checked out, whatever, or find a friend, somebody, and go from there down to Florida. Like, dude, that would be so cool.
that would be
And
nuts. I'm in. I'm 100% in for the flight to Sun and Fun. It's across the country. We'll hit storms and challenges along the way, but
exactly,
we'll have to work that one out. I'm in. We'll figure that one out, dude. We
yep,
can make that trip. Me and you fly down. It would be a blast. And
that would
that
be so much fun.
that's why I'm here. That's why I made
Hmm.
this podcast to build relationships, to meet people, to share people's stories, and to share experiences with the people that I meet. So we'll chalk that one up. Let's look into that for maybe next year. I think
Oh
this year's
yeah,
is in like May, which is a
this
little
year's
tight.
in yeah, it is a little
May,
tight. It's in
April, something like that.
April. I
Yeah.
think it's beginning of April. I might just like if I don't end up flying in this year, what I'm thinking is the other option was to be flying into Florida, like commercial flight, and
Hmm.
then find like a flight club or
Same.
something, and then literally just fly like an hour. At least I did it. But next year I like actually want to do
To fly the
like
country. Yeah.
a whole damn country. That's a real cross country there,
Oh yeah, that's a
and
flex. I'm in. I'm in for that. I was thinking the same thing for this year. Fly commercial to somewhere close, rent a plane, fly into the event, enjoy.
yep.
Um, yeah.
That'd be so much fun. It'd be cool. The whole either experience would be, regardless, it'd still be fun. So yeah, definitely we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah. We'll connect on that and make it happen. We'll be able to put something together. So to all you
Yep.
there tuning in, watching, look out for a video of me and Ali flying down in Florida. That'll be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be really cool.
Oh yeah, it'd be an incredible experience, which is what aviation is about. Having amazing
100%.
experiences, sharing with friends and family, and for people who like cameras, sharing with the world.
Yep.
After you pass this check ride tomorrow and you absolutely crush it, like, what are your plans then? What's next?
So the night of, I'm actually going to a pilot dinner hosted by, do you know who Captain Kurt is?
Hmm.
Yeah, so he has like a pilot conference over the weekend, and so I was part of the dinner. And so after the check ride, going straight down to Carlsbad, having dinner with him and a bunch of other guys, and then probably do like a little bit of a celebration and whatnot just before I head down there. And then the
Hmm.
next day, same thing, the actual conference is then. And then I think Sunday will probably be like my official celebrating day where I'm like, I don't want to talk about planes. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to go relax, like, and just kind of just hang out, grab dinner or lunch, brunch, whatever. I really don't even care. I just want to just celebrate the fact that like I'm a licensed pilot, and then
Hey,
yeah. So I'm already banking on it. Like I'm banking Friday night, like I'm gonna be a licensed pilot,
right?
and So, and then after that, like the next steps after is to probably give myself like a couple weeks, kind of simmer down from all of like the craziness, and then get into instrument, just kind of dip my toes in a little bit, start getting that, get Shepherd Air and things like that, and kind of see how that goes. I'm excited for instrument, really excited for it.
It's awesome. That's the next level, and that's flying at the professional level. So
Hmm.
that'll be very exciting. I hopefully can start mine again soon. I know the excitement you have for that, but it's important to take a minute to enjoy, take a deep breath, fly around, have fun. Uh,
100%.
who's going to be your first passenger?
Ah, that is a tough one. There's so many people I could take. Um, Honestly, we have three seats that's open, so I could take. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is probably taking my dad and my girl up first. Just I have my reasons for it, and the person after that would be like my mom and my brothers. And so I think the first two passengers at the same time would probably be like my dad and my girl. I'll
Awesome.
somehow I'll figure out how who's gonna sit where. But yeah, but I think that's what I'll end up doing. I have my reasons as for why that is. Um, I'm excited for it. I really am. I was originally supposed to fly to this event with a friend, but I was like, "Nah, I can't do that. Like I can't make him like my first passenger.
Right, right.
So
It's a
he's a
special moment
pilot.
for sure.
Yeah, he's a CFI, so it's like it's
Yeah,
fine.
right.
Like it's whatever. But like my first official passenger who's not a pilot, like it's gonna
Yeah,
have to be my dad or my girl, most definitely. So
that's awesome.
there, she's excited for it. He doesn't know it yet, so he doesn't even know I have a check ride tomorrow. It's more like a surprise to everybody. Like not a
Oh
lot of
man,
people know. It's not like a superstition or anything, but I think there's only maybe 10 people who truly know that I'm taking a check ride tomorrow. And I just want to like come out, make a crazy video about it, and like post and be like, hell yeah, like, it's finally here.
I can't wait to see that, brother. I'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you, thank you.
That's very exciting. What you should do, you were talking about not knowing which seat to put them in. If you fly to another destination, maybe do lunch or something, then have them switch seats on the way back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think I'll probably put her in the front first. So like, she's like the first, whatever, and I'll give her like the experience, touch the controls, whatever, and then go fly, who knows, maybe down to Carlsbad, go grab some
Yeah,
lunch down there, and then head back, flip them out, and then yeah,
yeah.
go
McClellan
from
is
there.
nice. The McClellan
Hmm.
Palomar Airport. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Love the restaurant there. The restaurant there is pretty nice.
Yeah, I've heard it's definitely a good one. I didn't get to fly in. We planned a trip earlier this year. We went down in June, but it was
Hmm.
overcast, so we weren't able
Ah,
to
yeah.
land because I'm not an IFR rated pilot. So we actually had to
Hmm.
fly east to Fallbrook about 20 miles, and that was clear. We landed in Fallbrook,
Yeah,
and
I
we
heard
spent the
Fallbrook is
weekend.
a solid place.
It's a cool little airport. I think it's one of the smallest, like in the southern part of the country. It's
Hmm.
60 feet wide by like 2,200 feet or something.
Sounds like fun.
So it's a cool little place to land. If you aim for the numbers, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
You can float as long as you want at that point. But
Yep.
it's neat. It's on a little mound, so the first like part of the runway is kind of uphill. The last
Yep.
part's kind of downhill, depending
Yeah,
on
that's what
which
I
route you
heard.
come in on. But it's a
Hmm.
cool little one for sure. We tied it down and spent the weekend down there, and it was a blast.
That's really cool. I'm gonna have to look into
Weekend
that.
trips, dude. You gotta
Oh
start
yeah.
figuring out your weekend trips. Get away with the lady, share some
Yeah.
experiences. Lots of little towns. Paso Robles is a great one.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I heard that.
the Field of Lights. I don't know if you do, like wine tasting is a cool flex. The restaurants, the food is good. Or
Hmm.
Slow, San Luis Obispo, Beach Town, not far from Paso either. Definitely neat experiences. I'm excited for you to get up and do more exploring of the skies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the long form content's gonna be coming and going through all of that too. So that'll be a lot of fun.
I can't wait, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, what is like your end goal in aviation? Do you want to fly corporate jets? Do you want to go and fly for the airlines?
I want to do corporate. So corporate is I feel like for the moment and everybody's asking me like, why do you want to do it? Who the people that are asking me are the people that don't want to do it. So it's like, oh, why do you want to do it? Like it's not consistent or anything. And I'm like, listen, I'm a very social guy. I talk to just about everybody. I don't want to like sound cocky either for this, but there's no way I can't put myself in a position where I won't meet the right person to get me into that position that I truly want in corporate aviation. So it's like maybe down the line, maybe like 3 years from now, like when I'm like officially in my career and like gone through everything and flown all the jets I've wanted, and like, okay, like maybe it's time to go and fly with the airlines. So, but for now, corporate is what I'm sticking to, and that'll be my bread and butter for a while.
Awesome. That's my goal also. I want to fly corporate jets on the side. I
Yep.
like the freedom of schedule. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not leaving my current job as a firefighter. I work about 9 days a month, but I think it would be an amazing way to enjoy, my hobby, make some money off of it, fly big planes, real jets,
Of
get places in
course.
a hurry, say that I did it at a high level.
Yep.
Um, that
And
would
who doesn't
be,
want to be a G5 pilot,
you know what
or
I
like,
mean?
or just any sort of, corporate jet at that point? It's like, I know somebody who his former CFI is a G700 typed captain. I'm like, why the hell can't I do that too? Like that would be so cool to do. And it's, I really hope like when I first start out, like looking for places to like work and things like that, like I would love to fly a PC-12. Give me a PC-12 or a King Air, like I'll start doing that. I really don't care.
Same, with a
Like
smile
that
on
would
your
be,
face, like I'm doing
yeah,
it. This is a big boy plane,
exactly.
you know?
Yep.
It's not a little Cessna. There's nothing wrong with a Cessna, but that's a big boy plane.
No, literally. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I really am.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the journey. Hopefully you take us all along by sharing and storytelling along the way. It's going to be
No,
amazing.
likewise.
Knowing that you kind of want to fly jets, like what is your plan to get there? Are you going to go the CFI route and become a CFI to get your hours, or are you planning on like joining a flight club, maybe buying a plane, going the route that like flying with K did, where you kind of just fly around the country and do your own thing?
So I don't want to be a CFI. It's not that I struggle teaching, I just can't see myself being a CFI. And like I was having this conversation with many, many people. They're like, just become a CFI. And I'm like, it's not my thing right now. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is joining a flying club. It's cheap. Planes are always going to be available and there's tons of them and they're cheap and they're all great planes too. And I think what I'm going to end up doing, who knows, maybe by the end of this year, midway through this year, somehow put it all together and buy myself a plane. I would love to do that. But that's going to be a while before I do that because, it's not like buying a car. Like it's easy.
Yeah,
You want to
there's
go buy a fully loaded car? Okay, like there's hundreds of them, but a plane, like if you want this useful load and you want this avionics and you want this, it's like
right.
there's ever so many of that, and got to think about like, oh, upgrades. Like, okay, if I do steam now, like when do I upgrade to glass? So there's a lot that's gonna play into it.
Right.
I'm hoping hopefully this year looking to start buying one, start looking around. Not right now, of course, but eventually look and maybe even do like a fractional thing with
Yeah,
somebody, split
exactly.
the cost and because there's always going to be somebody else that I know that's going to be like, oh, hey, like I need a plane too. Okay, cool. Let's split the cost.
Yeah, that would
So,
work out very well, especially,
yeah,
as you're trying to make that your way to getting those hours. If you're not going to do the CFI route and, get paid to log those hours, um, you're not going to want to do it paying 250 an hour. You know what I mean? For the plane. So, the,
but yeah, so I'm hoping, if I do enough networking to like find like a ferry job as well, even if you don't want to pay me, like if you don't want to pay me, I'll do it for free. Like I'll pay for my own like hotel stays. Like I have my ways to pay for those. Like it's completely
right.
fine, And I'm like, if you don't want to pay me or whatever, I really don't care. Just give me the hours. I love to
Yeah.
fly and I'll get the hours. Like the money will come. I'm not worried so much about that part. Like I'm always worried about the money part, of course, but it's like, give me those hours. Like the hours are my currency right now.
Right. 100%. And I
Yeah.
remembered in a conversation we had offline, you're actually doing a lot of cinematic footage and putting things together for hotels, showcasing, their pool, their fitness area, their rooms, and helping them to create marketing content at a high level.
Yep. So that like I can always figure out some crazy thing like with like a deal that I could put together with like a hotel. Like, oh, you
Right.
guys like if I'm gonna end up going to Florida, like okay, like I could fly, do some work there, and then maybe do some work for a hotel. Like, oh, you guys need some content? Cool. Like I can hit two birds with one stone.
You're gonna figure this out as you go. I'm super excited for you in this check ride tomorrow. I know you're gonna nail it. And this journey from again zero to corporate pilot to whatever you decide to do after that is gonna be truly amazing.
No, 100%. I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to like help bring the people that have supported me the most, like throughout aviation that are part of it, to like bring them up as well. It's
Yeah.
like, I try to help out as much as I can. Like I have like my page is I'm at like 4,500 followers. I love it. It's great. I'm grateful for each and every single one of them. And I have people every day hitting me up like, hey, like, what can I do to get better? Or like this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm just a student pilot right now, And like, I try to help if I don't mind it at all. Like, ask me all the questions you want. Like, if I don't have the answers, I will somehow figure it out for you. So people ask me like my camera stuff, like what do I use to record, and just things about the plane too. Like I've had several people reach out and just kind of ask me about flight schools and things, and I'm like, I don't want to feel like an influencer just yet. Like,
Right.
I'm just
Right.
here to post, like I'm here to like really just show my experience and I just hope everybody's like actually enjoying it. So as long as I can help people and enjoy like what I'm doing, then that's kind of really all that matters.
Awesome. Awesome. So as we jump into the next segment, this is what I call the rapid fire round. I'm just going to throw a question at you, and you answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. So the first question: dream cockpit. If you could fly any plane, past or present, what would it be?
P-51, A350, and probably like a G7.
If you don't want to fly a P-51, I don't know if you're a real aviator.
Yep,
Must have gear. What's the one piece of aviation tech or gear that you can't fly without?
four flight, four flight for sure.
For flight with an iPad. Are you a full size iPad or a mini guy?
iPhone. Yeah, I just use my phone. It's big enough. I'm good with that. I'll probably end up getting an iPad like later down the line, but I'm good with my phone for now. It's the right size for what I need. I've seen guys with like the huge iPad Pros, like the bigger
Yeah,
size, and I'm like, dude, where does this fit? Like,
that part.
So
Yeah.
yeah, phone for now.
Okay, awesome. I'm a big fan of the mini. I think the mini is the right size. You can see your approach plates and whatnot. I got a little pivot case. Slide that in
Hmm.
there, suction cup it onto the window. So eyes go from, instruments to outside the plane, checking that real quick and back, real easy.
Yep.
So snack attack on your long cross country flights. What's your go-to in-flight snack?
Peanut M&M.
Peanut M&Ms. Okay. My
Yep.
father-in-law loves those. Like you would be his biggest fan because he loves them. I'm allergic to peanuts, so I can't partake, but
Ah,
but I respect it. Where are the
yeah.
almond M&Ms for us peanut allergy people, man? Like,
It,
come
they
on.
I was just talking to somebody about this actually. They told me that they have almond ones.
I gotta check those out just cause
Yeah, I think
sounds
it's the
unique.
he told me it's either the red bag or the tan bag. It's one of the two.
All right, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Diner diaries. So which airport diner or restaurant would you drop everything to go to right now?
Oh, oh. I've been seeing Volanti in Scottsdale. They they have a solid looking menu. Like that's a place I really want to go to. Fly to Scottsdale and the restaurant, like you walk out to like their porch balcony area and you're like on the ramp, essentially. Like there's no like glass barring you from seeing the planes or like taking videos without the distortion or anything. Like you're right there. And they came up on my page, and I was like, I need to do this. Like, I need to go here, grab brunch, go hang out in Scottsdale for the day, go see some friends, whatever, and then, maybe spend the night.
How far is that
And
from LA? From Santa Ana. What's that flight like?
I think it's about,
300, 350?
yeah, about 200. No, I know it's like 2 hours, like two
Oh,
and a
that's not
quarter.
bad. That's
Yeah,
not
it's not
bad.
bad at all.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Well, let's look into that and make that one happen. We can link up with Snowbird the Mooney.
Oh, yeah, he's out there, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's out
Yeah.
there. We can link up
Mm-hmm.
with him.
Yep.
That'd be a lot of fun. Be
And
down to do that for sure.
who else is out there? Aaron and Paul.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're
I
also out in there.
I didn't know where they were from, but okay, yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, yeah.
they're out in Arizona. So they're good people. So that would be cool to go meet up with them as well too.
No, that'd be dope. We should make something
Hmm.
like that happen. All right. Your favorite sound is it the roar of takeoff, the hum of cruise, or that sound of greasing a landing, the tires screeching?
The sound of landing. The
For
sound of
sure.
landing.
When
Yeah.
you butter one, you get that right
Oh
screech. Is
yeah.
nothing quite like it.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
Landing playlist. What song would you choose to play every time you absolutely butter a landing?
What would I play? Oh, that's a good one. I guess Trophies by Drake, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe something Drake's my number one. So I would have to say something Drake related, I guess. Yeah, like some hype stuff. Not the
All
newer
right.
stuff is great. It's just nothing like hypey, Like
Yep.
it'd have to probably be like Jumpman or like Trophies would be a good one.
Your
Yeah.
next video that you post of landing, that's what I expect to hear.
I will.
For sure, my
Definitely.
guy.
Yeah.
Your pilot bucket list, is there a goal that you still have that you want to achieve?
I think eventually I would like to fly an A350, like way down the line, whether that's for like Delta or maybe a Middle Eastern airline. So I think that's what I would want to
Okay.
do. Like that would be really cool. Yeah.
That'd be a unique experience. Advice for aviators in one sentence. What's the best advice that you'd give to a new pilot or someone considering starting this journey?
Literally, I think the biggest thing is enjoy every single aspect of it, whether it's good and bad. Like for us in Arabic, we say Alhamdulillah. So what that means is like, thank God
Right.
essentially. And so we say that regardless of anything that happens, whether that's good or bad, it's like you say alhamdulillah, like you're still alive, like, everything
Yeah.
is good. Like you're on the ground, like you're still breathing. So it's like no matter what happens in the air, just still enjoy, appreciate that like you've been taught everything for the moment that you are currently in.
Okay.
Hmm.
Nice. What's your favorite aviation related acronym?
Arrow. Probably arrow.
My man went with the easy one. All right. Sounds good.
the, the easiest one, or aviate is another easy one. What's funny is I really don't like eight tomato flames. I actually don't like it whatsoever. Like for some weird reason, like it's super easy. Just I don't know. I'd rather just reference 91205 for some weird reason, and I have like a checklist of how I check inoperative things and what I need, like flying day VFR. Just some weird reason I don't like eight tomato flames.
Awesome. Well, that's all that I've got in terms of the rapid fire round. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, your experience, and of course, your excitement for aviation. Lastly, before I let you go, where can people who want to follow your story, where can we find you to keep up with your progress?
My Instagram is Flying with Ali. Ali is the name. A lot of people they think it's OLLIE, but
Like Ollie,
all
got it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but it's Flying with Ali. It's Ali. Like the best way to remember is like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, I'm not named after him, but that's just the easiest way. So Flying with Ali is my Instagram. My TikTok, I believe, is the Ali Chokr. So TheAliChokr. I kind of post like a little bit of everything there. My YouTube, which will be coming out very, very soon when I start, flying a lot more. Same thing, flying with Ollie. And yeah, if anybody wants to follow like what I actually do outside, it's the Ollie Choker, which is where I post most of like my travels, my hotel content, and just like my lifestyle essentially. So yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Guys, get out there and follow him. He puts a lot of inspirational content out in terms of his Fly with Ollie page. I follow the man. He puts out a lot of fun content. He shows his enjoyment. He's got cameras set up in the plane with him. And it's a fun journey to be a part of.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun. Got to do these a lot more often. And
Oh, man, for sure.
yeah, we'll have to meet up soon. Either I come up to you, you come down to me.
Oh, dude, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to link. Can't wait to be a part of your journey. Can't wait to sharing it with you. Can't wait to continue to progress together, to grow,
100%.
in
No,
social
likewise.
as well as become, corporate pilots and make that process happen. And we'll definitely check in with you again in the near future.
Yep.
Best of luck to you tomorrow
Thank you.
on your
Thank you.
check ride. It shows that you feel very ready and confident that you would take the time, an hour and a half, 2 hours out of your day to record a podcast the day leading up to your check ride. But
Hmm.
if you're anything like me, I know that being social and just talking and being around someone that's kind of in the same phase of life as you definitely has a calming effect.
No, definitely. And it's also it's funny you say that too. It's like I was just talking about it with my girl. Like she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're doing one, before." And I'm like, "This calms me down. Like I don't have to think like so much. Like it's just two guys talking about things they love. Like I'm relaxed right now. Like I'm chilling. I'm not even thinking about the check ride, Maybe like
Right.
2 minutes after we get off, I'm like, shit, like I would check ride tomorrow, but like I like this. This was fun. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for having me.
Hey man, my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming, bro. Stay safe up in the skies. To all you out there watching, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and leave a review. And may there always be wind beneath your wings. Peace.
I like that. I like that.
Appreciate you, Brody. Yeah.
That was a good one.